Hello and good day. Welcome back to my channel. And it's been a while to upload this video as I was in too much pain about the demise of my Didier. It is of no reason to be facing back on video as Didier is laid back. Is laid down to his final resting place. And it is of no reason to explain to my viewers how sad and devastated I was in accepting his ordeal. But everything was already set ahead as our destiny. So I had willingly accepted now what had happened to my Didier. Though my expectation was not favorable, as I really wanted my Didier to fight death, but cancer has consumed him. He lost himself with severe dehydration. I am no expert to say his medical cause of death, but for me, he died because of complications brought about by the chemotherapy itself. As we all know, a person or cancer patients receiving chemo, sometimes it can have the side effect or complications or something like that as LBM or diarrhea, loose bowel motions, or constipation. But on the part of Didier, he has this diarrhea on the third night, or when he had completed the first cycle of his chemotherapy. It was on the third. It was on the night following his first cycle that he was he is all right. Physically wise, he's walking, he is talking well, and we had finished our dinner well. He eats well, but on the night we were on bed, I saw him always waking up, going to CR. He's complaining of lost motions. As he is well ambulating, I just kept him moving by himself, so I was just listening on him when I was in bed too, because it was early morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. So the first time he moved to the CR or the comfort room, I kept on asking, Didier, how are you? And he kept on replying me, well, I'm fine. I'm sitting here on the ball. That's it. Kamsala, like this, like that. So I'm confident enough. He's well. He's all right. Then there was regrets on my part that I was just keeping him. Let himself going in and out of the comfort room, because and in my part, I have confidence on him because he is all right. Then suddenly, on the last part that I saw him walking to the comfort room, I asked him, Didier, how are you? And he replied, yes, I'm fine. But in a few minutes, because I was I'm not so happy enough to keep on seeing him going to the bathroom. So I tried to get up and check on him. And of all my surprises, I saw him already sitting on the floor. And then he's still so responsive to me. I kept on, how are you? What's going on? Why you are here? I asked him why he's there on the floor sitting. But I saw already a lot of water coming out from down. So the first thing I did was to check his blood sugar, because maybe that causes him to be weak sitting on the floor. And it was normal. It's not almost normal, but it is not on the lowest part, because it's about 200. though it's a little bit higher on him because normally he was receiving hydrocortisone previously, but it's okay. It's not so because it was hypoglycemia. So I keep on checking in, check on pulse and say it was all right. Then I was suspecting really that he was starting to have loose electrolytes. So I keep on giving him water. He has no nausea. He is accepting water well. He drinks. So I asked him, can you stand up so I can clean you up? So yes, he followed my command. He was holding on the rails and tried to stand up. But all I saw was that our lamps is so weak enough to stand up. So I really had that impression that he loses really a lot of electrolytes. He has imbalance already of electrolytes. So instantly at that point, I called an ambulance because I don't have any authority to start an IV fluids, though the HID had all the supplies of fluids around me, but I don't have the authority to do so. So I called the ambulance. I cleaned him up. And at the last point that I was talking to him, his voice his voice is getting faint already. He's getting faint. But still, he is so conscious answering my queries, answering my question. So, in a few minutes, the ambulance came. And I give all the details about his history, that he's a cancer patient, he developed diarrhea, and so on and so forth. I cleaned him up. We transferred him to, with the help of the ambulance staff, we were able to carry him and kept him seated on the wheelchair. So, the ambulance that has come to rescue, to answer our call, our emergency call, is that they are not, they are only medically oriented, but not medically. They are only what you call this one, the SAMU, the pompier, the bombero, the firemen who used to be under the rescue team. So what they did is to pick up Didier from the wheelchair and move to the stretcher right away and wanted to transport him to the hospital. The IV fluids or perfusion has never been started. So on the way, it took him about 30 minutes going to the hospital. And that time, that was already 4 o'clock, almost 4 o'clock. So they started transporting him to the hospital. So after a while, at around 7 o'clock, I received a call from the hospital that he is really in the grave condition. He is getting critical. So I don't have anything to do except to pray and wish that he can come back and they can resolve the electrolyte imbalances he had. But at 11 o'clock, I received again another call that his body is not anymore responding with the fluids that that they were giving. The bladder is getting full, but no urine is coming out. So I suspected, oh my God, he is going into a multiple organ failure now. His system is not anymore responding to the emergency treatment that they will be giving. So finally, at the end, they called me again and said that Didier expired. With all my heart, though I was so sad on that time receiving the bad news. I have nothing to blame, even the doctors or to myself. But the guilt I have in myself, why, and the first time he had moved to the CR to dispose because of the diarrhea and LBM, why I didn't get up and check on him. That was my regret in the first place. why I let him have a lot of diarrhea, a lot of losses, water losses in his body through diarrhea. But then I realized it is really his time now. It is really his time. Though cancer, though he's been responding well, the chemotherapy and the radiotherapy, but after all, the hospital came into the diagnosis that the metastasis has been all around his body. It was, according to me, and there was a massive infection. That was the thing they were telling me. So that's it. I cannot question them, nor I can question God. It's his destiny that he has to end in this way. It's a sad story, but I have accepted at this time. I am making this video. Well, time has gone. I have to accept the fate that I have, that I had lost him. And that was it. It's not really the end of the world for me now. I have to start a new life. I have to start a new beginning. But for sure, he's always there for me. He's always there watching over me. And though this blog was created because of our wish to give an update about his cancer journey, so that is the painful thing that I have now, because the journey has ended so early. It's too early for that. Actually, there were already some schedule for him to undergo to complete the cycles of chemo, but it ended that way. Anyhow, that's life. That is really our destiny. So then, in this way, I still have to continue on blogging on the other chapter of my life, because I have to be talking next on how I cope up with my life being alone, how I cope up my anxiety, because for sure I developed mild anxiety for accepting his loss. But I hope so. I hope you will have to continue to watch on my video. There will be a lot more things to show you, not only about sad moments, but promise I have to show you some parts that I'm well recuperating from my pains. Thank you, and bye-bye.